Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time, this moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
Good evening and welcome to Loaded Mag. I've got to admit, I've just been laughing, lads, because I know Daz loves that intro as much as I do, but with your time delay today, Daz, it's unbelievable to see you actually nodding your head about 5 minutes after the music started. So apologies everyone, Daz internet's played up. I think it's got something to do with Storm Eunice probably, and it's knocked his generator over there on the coast of Galway. Unless he's borrowed it off Father Ted or something like that, or Dougal, but we'll have to see. There we go. There's the delayed smiling reaction there. That's exactly what we like to see. But
it's a
anyway,
disaster, disaster. And I can prove it. Look, watch this, everybody. the audio is before the video, so it's just crazy. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yes, we'll swiftly move on then, Daz. So, as we can see, joined by Daz and Pete tonight. Unfortunately, Martin has daddy duties tonight, so he's got the night off. However, we have got a fantastic replacement lined up. Now, a lot of the lads haven't seen him since the Brentford game at the NUFC Matters Christmas party, but he is back. It is Hawley.
Welcome back, Chris.
Cheers, boys. Thanks, boys.
How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm sound. Just a quick thank you to everyone who's been messaging me. Obviously, you lads have been keeping in touch with me and make sure I'm all right. And for everyone also messaging me, checking I'm okay. I'm absolutely fine. Just had a really bad bout of migraines and headaches and earaches and all that, but I'm absolutely sound now. And really, really pleased to be back and looking forward to talking Newcastle, because since I've been away, we've just decided to not stop winning, which has been pretty good.
Perhaps I should go away more often then, Chris.
I know. I should just piss off, shouldn't I? Hey, we'll be about 10th if I never come back on.
If we lose, I know. Chris.
I know, yeah, that'll be it now, won't it? Yeah, Chris is back. Great. So are the defeats.
So, as I said, we're going to start the show off, and we wanted to start it off by just a little thank you. Actually, we got Daz did got an inbox from Mick Story. And it was a nice little message. So we just wanted to put it out there and just to see what, obviously read it out and just, show how much we actually appreciate as a channel, as a collective, because, we do this show for the love of it, really. Do you know what I mean? We all love Newcastle United. That's how we met. And we put it on for us to have a bit crack, for you to enjoy what the crack we put on as well. But we got a fantastic message off Mick's Story, no relation with the namesake there. But Daz, are you able to move that banner just for a sec? And I'll just read out. It says, "Hey Daz, just a quick one, pal. I joined you guys over the weekend on a load of Geordie Mick. So you will have know that everyone will know him from in chat. So this is Mick, Geordie Mick Story. I just want to say a quick thank you to you and the lads on Loaded. I followed Newcastle all my life, and for about 16 years went home and away with a great friend of mine who unfortunately passed away 14 years ago. And to be honest, after that, I kind of fell out of love with going to the matches, as just wasn't the same without Ronnie. But I found you lads on YouTube, and you have probably got my love back for every NUFC again, and I can't thank you guys enough. Your banter is funny. Don't know where you get that from, Mike, but never mind. And apparently we're informative. And the rest of the gang in the comment section are great, so that's a nice feedback for everyone in chat as well. Anyway, thanks to all. It was just a quick thank you to you and the lads. Cheers, pal. I appreciate it if you could pass on my thanks to the rest of the boys. So, as Daz did, they passed that out. Nick, we really, really appreciate that, mate. It's nice to get feedback like that, and you know what gets us obviously more we appreciate it more because obviously you always associate NUFC as a good time for you and your mate when you used to go to the game and stuff like that, and it's nice that we've able to put that love back to you and you fall in love again with the club, a bit like we all have since the takeovers went through. So we really appreciate that, and it's great to say that you're feeling the same love that we are now. So great. And what we want to do as well, just a quick one before we get into the nitty-gritty of what NUFC in the weekend's game. As we mentioned on the review show on Sunday, we do have a new sponsor to go along with Black and White Army and Shy Benz. And it's a brand new partnership with Pins and Prints. Now, the reason why we're starting the show with Pins and Prints, and as you can see, they've actually put an exclusive discount code for Loaded Mag viewers. So if you see anything that we put up during the show, head to the website, which is www.pinsandprints.com. When you get to the checkout, there's a code section. If you put in Loaded Mag, you will get 10% off your order. And that's off anything that's on the website, whether it be some pins, some Jonas Gutierrez pins in there at the moment. There's also prints, which we'll show you later on. However, the reason why we're mentioning this at the start is because they want some viewer feedback, because they've got this fantastic new idea. Now, you won't be able to see the exact details on this picture, but what they're looking to do is they're looking to do a set of cards. Now, as you can see, it starts with ace and goes all the way through to queen. But what they want to do is they want you to choose who you want on each card. So they want to try and relate it to that type of card or the number or something relative with it. So, for example, the ace is Sir Bobby Robson. The king is Kevin Keegan. Number 9 is Alan Shearer. The queen is Amanda Staveley, and so forth. Number 7 is actually Rob Lee, but there's a couple that haven't got any numbers on. So they want ideas, what they want you to have for that number. So say, for example, number 5, it could be someone who's worn the number 5, or it could be something like you want Albert's goal on the back of the number 5 because he scored the 5th and the 5-0 against Man United. So they want your ideas on anything. Obviously, the ones he's put down now, for example, perhaps what he's leading towards, but that doesn't mean that Dean will actually stick with them. If someone comes up with a better idea in the chat and we feed it back to Dean, he will put it in the Newcastle print section when it comes up. So get your ideas in while we're in chat and while we're talking, and obviously we can feed that back to Dean over the weekend. Okie dokie.
Richie,
So,
yes.
Richie.
And some of the cards there, he's got Rob Lee and J7 and the number 7, for example. Is it the plan to put both of them on it, or just one?
No, it's just ideas of who he's actually looking at to put on there. So that could be Rob Lee one, or it could be Joe Linton. It's all going to be on viewer feedback, and obviously what he gets on it on Twitter and stuff like that as well. So it's all about trying to be inclusive, and he wants to get other people's opinion rather than just going off his opinion sort of thing. So, but right, lads, that's another thing, Richie. For the minute. Go on, mate.
One more thing, Richie. Dean, I appreciate Dean's idea there, but look at our other sponsor is having a go here. Simon, look at this. I'm getting abuse about my hair.
He just realised it's the truth, Daz. That's the thing.
I have various different wigs. Is that the...
It looks like it, mate. It is. Okay. But to be fair, I'm glad I don't use your toupee provider. I'll just go with the clean cut myself. But anyway, lads, right. Let's start off with today's press conference with Eddie Howe, where he did reveal, obviously, that Kieran Trippier went down with the injury last week. And he will be missing for the foreseeable future. He went had an operation yesterday. He did actually say it was a success. Daz, how much of a miss is Kieran Trippier going to be?
Oh, he's massive. He's massive. Look, it's just if you even take away his goals from free kicks, from set pieces, and his set piece delivery as well. Just his leadership has been immense, and it's just everyone has picked up since he's been playing. So it is going to be a massive miss. It does look like the hope is that he'll be back before the end of the season, but let's see how it goes. And I see other messages I've seen is that maybe it'll be kind of concentrating on getting back for pre-season, but let's hope he does come back, because we may need him towards the back end of the season. If we would, I think we would, the trajectory that we're going on now, we would be well safe early with Trippier. It's another little kind of doubt, but I still think he'll be safe, of course. But it's just a little doubt, and we need the likes of Manquillo now to step up, because I know Eddie Howe's press conference, he said that he will miss just the West Ham game, so hopefully he'll be back for the next game after that. There's the Brentford game, and but yeah, it's a massive loss to us.
Pete, obviously, we know that he's out for the foreseeable future, and it was great to hear that the operation was a success. As you can see, there he's got his protective boot on. Do you think that just because he's not going to be on the pitch, obviously, we've both been coaches and we know how influential people can be from the sideline. Do you think he'll be just as appropriate and important from the sidelines, cheer them on from the changing room, from the side of the pitch on the weekend and stuff like that, rather so the lads won't actually drop their performance during the games?
I don't think you can ever kind of sort of compensate for being on the pitch and leading by example, and that's kind of exactly what Kieran Trippier has done. He's led by example, which is gained the respect of the players. You see when he scored the free kick against Everton, you know, Fabian Shaw, one of the first players to greet him, is kind of like, you see his reaction to say, you know, that's fucking class. And he shakes his hand, and it's that level of mutual respect between the players, and that's kind of led by example, because he's shown, not by mouthing off, not by going in with a big ego like you see at other clubs. You know, Man United, for example, lots of egos in that club. He's come in and he's part of the fabric of the club. He really gelled himself as part of that family unit, but also leading by example with his quality. And you can never sort of compensate for that. But, you know, equally, he will have a huge say in how things go forward. It wouldn't surprise me that Kieran Trippier has been in the training ground all week and working one-to-one with Kraft and going through the way in which, you know, he does his thing on the pitch and saying, you know, this is how I play as a right back. You know, you can't necessarily do it for him, but he'll be teaching him about certain elements of the game and at certain points in the game how to play. So, you know, for example, on Sunday against Villa, Kieran Trippier was very sort of selective on whether he played the ball down the right-hand side for Fraser to get on with, or whether he thought, you know what, there's nothing going on here, I'll switch the play and I'll create something down the other side. And it's that level of intelligence that I think Kraft isn't aware of. So I thought, from my point of view, I think that I'd be surprised if he wasn't kind of sort of side coaching Kraft and talking him through things. It wouldn't even surprise me to see Kieran Trippier part of the travelling squad to London and to be a part of everything in the run up to the game tomorrow. And it wouldn't even surprise me to see him on the bench, kind of, you know, helping and supporting the players, because look, everything's riding on these run of results. You know, if we can get 3 points tomorrow, or even a point, it's a positive result, and it kind of, you know, ticks another box in terms of moving that step closer to staying safe. So I think, you know, I do think he's going to have an influence, but obviously it's nowhere near the sort of influence it would be if he was on the pitch, which is a real shame.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because, you know, yeah, you can lead from the side of the pitch to a degree, but I think the best way of lead is actually lead by example sometimes as well. And obviously you'll agree with that, Pete. But Chris, with obviously Trippier being missing and as we know, he's been the leader on the pitch since he's come in. He was given the captain's armband against Villa at the weekend. Who do you think will take over that mantle going forward? Who do you think will be our, you know, talisman and the leader that compensate for Trippier not being there now?
Do you know what? It's a really interesting question, Vitch. I mean, I obviously, you know, look from the outside looking in. I've not had a chance to talk to you lads about it on the show, but I've been really surprised. Maybe surprised isn't the word, but I've been taken aback at how integral, as Pete's just mentioned and Daz, how integral Kieran Trippier's been, not just on the field, but also off the field. I mean, I sent a tweet out, I think it was last week or the week before, saying that, you know, I find myself pinching myself at the fact that we've signed someone like Kieran Trippier. And I do firmly believe that in years to come, we will look back and go, how important was that signing of Kieran Trippier? Because he's totally exceeded all of my expectations. I knew he was a good player. And I think we all knew, even if we didn't watch our Spanish football, we all knew that, Gareth Southgate picking Kieran Trippier, I think it was the first game of the Euros? Am I right saying that? And he picked Kieran Trippier at left back. Yeah. And that just shows you what Gareth Southgate thinks of Kieran Trippier. And, in other games, he was starting him at right back. And he's getting in ahead of the likes of Kyle Walker. He's getting in ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold. You could list off a whole host of names. And now that he's a Newcastle player, and now I look at him, I can fully see why. I mean, I've been impressed with him, not just on the pitch, but I'd say I've actually been more impressed with him off the pitch. All these stories you're hearing about, I didn't know what you said earlier, Rich, about the fact that he's in the training ground and he's talking to Kraft and he's, keeping the atmosphere up and being positive. It's just everything you want from a footballer. And in terms of who's going to replace him, it sounds mad, but I genuinely am not sure if we can. I mean, it's great to have him in and around, but I think on match day tomorrow at 12:30, I think we're really going to miss him. And that sounds really strange to say about a player who I think's played 5-6 games for Newcastle. For us already to be, missing him so much. I think, based on the team and from what I've seen, I think John Joe Shelvey will take over. My only concern, as we've spoken about in the past, is that there is a slight concern with John Joe Shelvey, and it's been aimed at him a few times when he's been given the captain's armband, that perhaps he's one of those players that should really concentrate on his game, and you don't want to give him that added responsibility. So that is a slight concern, because Shelvey's been totally transformed since Eddie Howe's come in, and long may that continue. But based on the players that we've currently got in the starting 11, I would imagine it probably will be John Joe Shelvey, and I fully expect him to wear the captain's armband, as I'm not wholly convinced that Eddie Howe will make any more changes to the back line that aren't forced. So I do expect Shah and Dan Burn to start at centre-back. I don't think Lascelles will be on the pitch. So I think it will be I think it'll be John Joe Shelvey, and let's hope he can step up to the plate.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's the one thing we look at John Joe Shelvey. Normally he does tend to try. He delivers more by and tries to lead by how he is by conducting the flow of the play and the game and stuff like that. Yeah. He's not one of those ones who like Trippier. He shouts and he tells people to calm down, or he makes the right pass and the communication sort of thing. He does it by controlling the flow of the game. Sorry, did I interrupt? Did you want to say something, mate?
Yeah, no, I know I'm conscious of my delay that I'm going to cut across you as well, Richie. But just on John Joe Shelvey, every time he plays West Ham, he also ups his game as well.
Yeah, he does. You're right.
So was he a West Ham supporter? There was
he supports West Ham.
So. I think that could go in our favor tomorrow as well. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe keep that in mind when you're placing any bets tomorrow on that one. Gamble responsibly.
So what we'll do is, because obviously we've touched on a bit, and I've noticed a few chats coming around about the team selection tomorrow. Now I've seen quite a bit on Twitter about the expected team. Now this was the one I saw the most, in which it was the only changes really was Target coming back into the team and Kraft's replacing Trippier. Now, Daz, is that the sort of team you think they'll go with tomorrow, or can you see any other changes?
Yeah, I saw the pictures you put up, Rich, because I know you have a few more options here, but I think we'll just remove the banner as well. Everyone knows it's Dubravka in goal. I think this is the team he'll definitely go with. He won't change the system tomorrow. He'll resist the temptation, much to Martin's disappointments, to bring Bruno in from the start, and he'll go with this. Target goes back in at left back. He'll go 4-3-3 again. And I think he's not going to change it unless he's forced to change it, or unless we get a draw or a defeat, and then he'll mix it up, and Bruno will be in from the start. But for tomorrow, I think this is what he'll go with. I think I'd I'd go one of your other options that you'll bring up in shortly. But this, I think, Kraft is sitting in there. Look at he's bigged up Kraft as well in the press conference, and yeah, Kraft has done okay. Okay, when I think of Kraft, I immediately think back to the Bruce days, and yeah, there's always a mistake in him, but he's been solid enough as well, and so give him a chance. You know, he's not a Trippier, but look at he could do a job for us there too. I think, yeah, this will be the team until we draw or lose a game, and then we'll have a change.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing is about, obviously, we know Crafty he did make quite a few mistakes under Bruce. You know, we nearly on the Villa game, he nearly played Watkins on side, so we were lucky to get away with that one as well. So, but Pete, I actually put another 4-3-3 on there, and sometimes, you know, we've seen out of the box selection sort of thing, and we know that right back seems to be the area where we're a little bit concerned. Now we know in a 3-5-2 that Sharp has played as a right centre back. Would you contemplate putting him as a right back, because we do know that Shaw likes to get forward, you know, and attack the ball, and you know, so he's put crosses in before as well when he's been in the right centre back and he's brought the ball out. Is that something you may consider if you were picking the team, Pete? And then bring the cells back into the centre back?
In a word, no. Shaw isn't a right back. I think we need to get away from kind of fitting and pigeonholing players into a position when it's not their speciality position. I personally didn't think Kraft had a bad game on Sunday when he came on. I know he was sort of nearly kept Watkins onside for the goal that was eventually disallowed. But I actually thought Kraft had a decent game. I thought he had a little bit of energy about him. I thought he drove forward. I think there was a little bit of inexperience in the way in which Howe wants to play, because he hasn't played much football under Eddie Howe, in terms of, you know, when he played the ball down the wing when he didn't need to, which led to the offside goal. Once he'd made that mistake, and Howe and Tyndall kind of, you know, motioned him to say, you know, look inside, play the inside ball, he didn't really make a mistake after that. And you would like to think that after a week of training, that things would improve, and that things would improve in terms of his game. Look, he's a Sweden international, and he's a Sweden international that for 2 years wasn't coached at all with regards to playing, you know, properly in a proper system, because he had a manager that didn't know how to play tactics. He's got a manager that's tactically aware now. So for me, I think Kraft has to play at right back, because he's the only choice. He's a natural right back, and I think hopefully, if Trippier has been working with him and Howe's been working with him, that he could have a good game. Look, at the end of the day, on social media about Kraft and a lot of negative opinions about him, and that, you know, he's shite and that he's not good enough for the team and whatever. Look, those that are saying that may well be right, but in my opinion, for me, we need to get behind him, because he's our right back now for the foreseeable future, and he's going to be the one, you know, that look, let's face it, West Ham are going to target. And Dan Lawless, that was on the away days yesterday, talked about when I put my team up from last night. He said, you know, they're likely to target Kraft because Bowen's down there. Let's see if Kraft can rise to the occasion. Let's give him a little bit of confidence. I want to see that when I'm in the away end tomorrow, that the fans are backing him, that they're going to be chanting for him, that they're going to be supporting him, because we need him to play well in order for us to get points, in order for us to stay in the league. So it's easy to shit on a player, but at the same time, we need to back him, because he could be the difference in the next few games in us getting 3 points and not. So I think he needs to play. The rest of the team is as it is. I don't think it needs to change. Target naturally comes back. You don't change that centre-back pairing. That centre-back pairing for me is the centre-back pairing that goes forward, in my opinion. They are the strongest centre-back pairing. Why? Because they both know how to defend, and they both are comfortable on the ball. We never had any problems with giving the ball away needlessly from centre-back positions against Aston Villa. Why? Because both Dan Burn and Fabian Shaw know what to do on the ball. They are both comfortable, and they didn't give anyone any second chances to take the ball off them. And we need to get that continuing moving forward.
Just obviously, I agree with you, Pete. I believe that'll be the back four tomorrow. However, do you think I also believe that'll be the formation as well. Do you feel that Eddie Howe might be tending to be a bit loyal and bring Lascelles back in? Or would you like to believe that, like I believe that, Burn and Shaw, as you mentioned, are the back, the centre-back pairing going forward? And to be fair, they've both been man of the matches in 2 of the last 3 games against Leeds and against Aston Villa. So it would be harsh on them to split them up. But could you see Eddie Howe bringing Lascelles back?
No. And I think, if anyone's heard Eddie Howe's press conference today, I think he alludes to the fact that it's a case of, if the players are not performing, then what happens is that, they've got quality players waiting in the wings to come in and take their position. I think that's a call to the likes of Dan Burn and Fabian Shaw, but also the likes of Willock, Shelvey and Joe Linton, because you've got 2 players there. You've got the captain in Lascelles, regardless of what you think about him, he's the captain and he's going to be chomping at the bit to start. You've also got Bruno Guimaraes as well, and I'm sure we'll get onto him. So there are players now in the positions where they could argue that they have a right to start in this game, but that's going to keep Burn and Shaw on their toes. And I think he has to keep with that partnership because it played so well. You cannot change a centre-back partnership that got a clean sheet. Clean sheets have been hard to come by if you've been a Newcastle United fan this season. We've got one on Sunday and actually deserved it because they played very well as a defensive unit. There's no need to change that. And I'm absolutely convinced that Eddie Howe will stick to what he's currently got.
Chris, obviously, he's Eddie Howe's formation since he's come in has been 4-3-3. But say, for example, he found it impossible to drop Dan Burn or Fabian Shaw, but he wanted to bring Lascelles back in. There's always that possibility he could change the formation and go to a 3 at the back. Now, I picked the teams that, something that possibly could go along to fit those in if you wanted to bring Lascelles in. Do you think he would do that? And 2, if he was, do you agree with some of the selections I've gone there? Because I think one thing you will see is the middle 3. As Eddie Howe alluded to in his press conference, he reckons the midfield's our strongest area at the minute. With Joel Linton coming in back, into being classed as a midfield now, and you've got Shelvey and Willock who've been playing out of the skin recently. You've got, as Big Pete said, Bruno chomping at the bit to get on, and obviously Sean Longstaff's done quite well in recent games as well. So, one, do you think he would change the formation to accommodate Lascelles? And also, if he was to go ahead with a 3-5-2 and with those 3 midfielders, would you go with those 3 midfielders still, saying that they've earned it, or would you be tempted to bring someone in?
Just to answer the first question, Rich, I've been quite frustrated over the past few days when I've been looking at Twitter, and I was so glad to listen to Pete just then, because obviously he shares my frustration, and I'm sure you and Daz probably do to a degree as well, in terms of hearing people saying, "Oh, let's put Shaw right back," or "We haven't got a decent right back. Let's put anyone there," or Jacob Murphy or Ryan Fraser, and for me, I think we stick with Emil Kraft. I really do. And for us to change the formation, I mean, I trust Eddie Howe implicitly, and if he decides that we go with a 3-5-2. So be it. But for me, I wouldn't be changing the formation anytime soon. I really wouldn't. That lineup that you've just had up there, Rich, if he was to go to a 3-5-2, I think that's our strongest lineup. Having Fraser as the wing back, he works hard. Fraser's been absolutely fantastic these last few weeks. So if he was to go 3-5-2, that would be the formation that I would choose. That would be the lineup that I would choose. Because I think you've got to have Ryan Fraser down that right-hand side. However, I don't think he will go with that formation. I think he'll stick with 4-3-3. And absolutely, Emil Kraft has got to play. Absolutely. For anyone to suggest putting, as Pete just said, moving, breaking up that defensive partnership of Shah and Bain, who were absolutely fantastic in the last game, and hopefully they can go on and build that relationship up. You're putting Emil Kraft at right back. Is he a player that we're going to want to upgrade in the next 12 to 18 months? Absolutely. But right now, he's not as bad as people make out. And Pete was right when he came on, albeit for the offside goal. Which I still feel he was a little bit unlucky with in terms of where he was position wise, because he kind of got caught up in the play, and he maybe switched off for a second or two, but he was there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just the fact that he was ball watching or like daydreaming. He was there for a reason. So in that sense, I count him as a little bit unlucky. But for me, I think Emil Kraft done pretty well when he come on. Obviously, a lot of pressure on him. He knows everybody adores Kieran Trippier, so it can't have been easy for him to come in an atmosphere as such as it was, because we're on the back of 2 previous wins and performing really well. So he probably felt the pressure a little bit there, but I thought he did really well. And I personally hope that he starts tomorrow, because I think he deserves it. And one thing you can never say about Emil Kraft in all the time that he's been here is that he doesn't put the effort in. The effort's always there with Emil Kraft, and I think he'll have a decent performance there. Obviously, all eyes will be on him because Kieran Trippier will be a big miss. But I think we go 4-3-3, and I think Emil Kraft starts.
I think it's good. It's good. Go on, sorry, Pete.
No, I was just going to add in there. I don't know if anyone noticed, because obviously I was at the game, and then I've watched the game back a few times since, full 90 minutes, but particularly that second half. And talking about Kraft and his being out of position slightly, I think Chris is right. He was a little bit unlucky to kind of be just keeping potentially because he was actually kind of getting back in to cover his space. Now, one thing that I noticed, and I talked to my mate who was next to me in the corner, and I'd said to him just before we nearly conceded that goal, I said to him, our wingers had not been tracking back the way that they needed to in that 10-minute period up until the goal. So Fraser wasn't getting back in. Alistair Maximin clearly wasn't getting back in. But as well as that, the midfielders, Joe Linton and Willock, that were that double supporting in those areas, they weren't getting back in either. So there was a lack of defensive solidity in supporting the fullbacks during that period of time, just before we conceded that goal that was ruled out. Now, what was interesting about that is that once that had happened, Eddie Howe had noticed that. So he'd obviously spoken to Kraft about the way in which he should play when he's on the ball. But what he did, for about a 10 or 15-minute period, he switched it to a back three, and Kraft then became part of that centre-back three for about a 10-minute period, maybe 10, 12 minutes. And he had Fraser just sitting in as a wing-back, because Fraser was getting back and forward and he was clearly shattered. So he switched it to a back three, put him as a wing-back, Fraser, just to allow him to get a bit of rest. So he was there heading up and just stopping anything coming forward. That's the tactical awareness that Eddie Howe has. He'd noticed something on the pitch in game and made the changes. That's the kind of thing we'd be lauding Rafa Benitez for. But equally, I don't blame Kraft for that situation with the goal, because he did his best to get back in control his position. But it was the fact of the lack of support through that side on the right-hand side which created that chance, because there wasn't anyone tracking in. So that's where I think it's been harsh on Kraft for that. I was harsh on him at the time, and I was like, what the fuck's he doing? Like, why is he not getting there? But actually, you watch the game back, and it's not necessarily his fault. The ball is his fault, but actually everything that transpires after that, he had no support around him. He literally was kind of commanding 2 or 3 men on his own, which you don't want. And we can't afford for that to happen tomorrow, because if Jared Bowen, if Dan Lawless is right and Jared Bowen's going to play on that left-hand side, you cannot afford Kraft and Jared Bowen to be one-on-one. No. Willock has to be in there to support. Fraser needs to be in there to crowd that space, to not allow Jared Bowen to have a one-on-one situation, because whether it was Trippier or Kraft, at the moment, Jared Bowen is one of the best players in the Premier League right now. Yeah. Goals and assists, he's only second to Mohamed Salah. So Mo Salah is the only one that has a better goals and assist ratio at this moment in time than him, which is crazy. So we cannot afford for that to happen tomorrow. So the players need to be bang on it as as always.
And just to add into that, Pete, you took me back there to the Everton game. Obviously, I wasn't there. Rich was there, and I'm sure Rich will back this up. That's exactly where Everton went wrong. How many times did Alan St. Maximin go one-on-one with an Everton defender? And he just absolutely had a field day. So we can't allow, you're absolutely right, Pete, we cannot allow Jared Bowen to be in that position, because you're right. Form guards will tell you Jared Bowen's one of the most dangerous players in the Premier League at the moment right now. If you stop Jared Bowen, you probably go a long way to stopping West Ham.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and I agree with what you've all said about your team selection and going with the 4-3-3 as well. I just wanted to play devil's advocate, because obviously there was a lot of rumours going on Twitter what people should pick and stuff like that, but it's good to see that we're all in agreement. Now, I think one of the things that we're all concerned of tomorrow going to West Ham, where we haven't done too bad over the last couple of years, is, if we look at the way that the Premier League table is, Daz, I don't feel a bit to move that comment for us, mate.
Yeah, gladly.
Going into this weekend's round of fixtures, obviously we've got a 4-point cushion over Norwich in the bottom three, and there's some interesting fixtures coming up this weekend. So, say for example, if we have, we could go up to 15th by the time the 3 o'clock kick off tomorrow, if we were to get the 3 points at West Ham. I think we'd probably all be in agreement that the one thing we want to do is keep this unbeaten run going. But I just wanted to ask all of you what your feelings would be on where you think we might finish this weekend. Obviously after this weekend's round of fixtures, because looking at also at the Premier League form table at the minute, and we touched on this briefly on Sunday night. Newcastle at the moment are actually in 5th place, having 11 points out of 18. West Ham are also one of the other form teams. They're in 7th, and they've got 10 points from their last 18. So it is a pretty tight game to call tomorrow. But the one good thing is that if you look at the bottom end of the form table, Brentford, Watford, Burnley, Everton, even Villa, Leeds and Norwich are all in the bottom half of that form table with a maximum out of a lot of them of 7 points out of them at their 18. So going back to the bottom of the table there, just to go, I want you to quickly go around all of you just to see what you think will be the result of this one. So Daz, Arsenal, Brentford.
Arsenal.
Pete?
Yeah, Arsenal win.
Chris?
I'd have to say Arsenal.
Yeah. So that means we're hoping that Brentford will stay where they are, and hopefully their goal difference will be worse off that. So then the next one, Aston Villa play Watford. Daz?
Villa.
Pete?
What was that game? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Villa Watford.
Villa, they're going to have to hit back after the fact that, and people might say it was a poor performance by Villa, but we made them look poor. By the way that we played, they're going to want to hit back. Gerrard was not happy. I fully expect a Villa win. Yeah,
I agree with you on that. Chris, Villa or Watford?
I'm going to have to check on me and Pete. I haven't had a little chat before this show because I completely agree with what Pete just said. Steven Gerrard was absolutely raging on that post-match conference after the game we played against Villa. And I forget who said it, but someone said, hang on a minute, Villa were poor on the day, but people don't give us credit for the fact that we made Villa poor. Because, I mean, straight away, if you look at the performance of Philippe Coutinho, he doesn't turn into a bad player overnight. And I think that we nullified the threat of Aston Villa. And that was mainly by trying to dislodge Philippe Coutinho and make sure that he didn't have an influence on that game. So, yeah, I fully expect Villa to come out all guns blazing against Watford. And the way Watford are at the minute, I'm still absolutely horrified that they've decided Roy Hodgson was the answer to keep them up. Absolutely bemused by it. So, yeah, I fully expect a Villa win, Mitch. Fully.
Yeah, I think we're at the full house there. I'm with a Villa win there. Brighton, Burnley, Daz. Obviously, Burnley have, they still haven't had another win over the last few weeks, but they seem to have made games difficult. Obviously, look at the weekend on last week, a 1-1 draw against Man United. How do you think you see that one going, Brighton, Burnley at Brighton?
First, Richie, you should have started this with loaded leaderboard.
I know it feels
Take
like
back
that,
to
does.
the good old days. But Brighton win. Brighton are home there, and Brighton win for sure.
Pete, how do you see that one going?
I was too busy looking at Dan's comments about my beard in the chat. I didn't know what you said. But by the way, I don't dye my beard. If you look to the sides, either side, there's the grey creeping in there. Unfortunately, I don't dye my beard. I'm a natural kind of guy.
Is it real, Pete? It'll be the next question, or is it stuck on? Apparently like my wig.
No, it's real. It's real. I've got a few patches of Houlihan around here, so yeah, it's not glued on or anything like that. But yeah, sorry, what was the game again?
Brighton Burnley, mate, at the Amex.
I hope Brighton win comfortably. We want. For me personally, I think the only one that catches us at this moment in time is Burnley. Burnley got the games in hand, and they have a knack of getting out of this situation. If we can continue to keep Burnley down there and they keep picking up defeats, that only strengthens our fight for survival. If I'm honest with you, because I don't see Norwich or Watford getting out of this whatsoever. So fingers crossed, a Brighton win and a comfortable win. Although they've got Lewis Dunk missing, which is a big miss for them at centre back.
Yeah. Chris, how do you see that one going?
Yeah, it's a bit more of a tight one, this one. I would like to think Brighton would win. I am a big fan of Brighton, but Burnley always have that potential, and I know they've signed Weghorst to replace Chris Wood, and he's made a really good start in the Premier League. Hopefully, Brighton continue to play Jay Rodriguez up front, because I think that gives us a better chance of staying up, because I'm not Jay Rodriguez's biggest fan. So yeah, I would say I'm hoping a Brighton win, but I think worst case scenario will be a draw.
Yeah, I think the next fixture, I think we're probably all in agreement that Liverpool will beat Norwich at Anfield tomorrow. So I don't think we need to go around the houses on that one.
No.
Martin would have gone Norwich just to be.
Yeah. Marty still was still a curveball in, didn't he? Just as well he's not here tonight there. So this is where the two difficult one comes in with the two teams just above us. So Everton have got to travel to Southampton. Daz, how do you see that one going?
It's a toughie, that.
Draw.
Pete?
No, hang on. No, I'll stick with the draw.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Southampton are going to win. I really do. Southampton, you look player for player. Everton have got the better team and the better squad, but Southampton are just playing really well at the moment. Ralph Hasenhüttl has got them playing really well, and my boy Shea Adams is turning it on at the moment, coming back from I think his bout of COVID. So I always think at home they're a difficult team to play. So I think they'll win. I think Southampton will win.
Chris?
Oh, fucking hell. It's good to be back, isn't it? Hey?
Yeah.
Southampton, Everton. Yeah. Like Pete, I hope Southampton win, and I think they're more than capable of winning. If I had to pick between the two, I'd say there's probably more chance of Southampton winning. Again, good side. Hasenhüttl's got them flying. And for anyone who doesn't watch that much of Southampton, have a look at that Brozier up front. He's on loan from Chelsea. He's absolutely hot. Like he's in such good form, and he looks such a good player. He'd definitely be someone I'd be looking at in the summer, by the way. Every time I watch him, he impresses me. Against Man United, I thought he was fantastic. He's just one of those big, awkward strikers who really puts himself about. And I think having him up front for Southampton gives them half a chance, especially with the likes of Shea Adams. So yeah, I'm gonna say Southampton win.
Okay, cool. So, and then the other one, which rounds off on Super Sunday, is Leeds at Elland Road against Man United. So we know it's a bit of a dirty fixture between the two teams. A lot of history between Leeds class this as their derby. A lot of Man United fans do as well. Daz, how do you see Leeds getting on against Man United?
Yeah, these are kind of high-scoring games, weren't they? The last one I remember was a high-scoring one anyway. I think Leeds could get a draw. I'm going to go for a draw, just to be as a surprise kind of result, a draw.
Pete?
Man United win all day. And Leeds have done all right. They got that sort of shock result at West Ham and all the rest of it. But the way in which Leeds play, like we've seen it in previous years, like last season when they played Man United, when they go good and home against Man United have got players to absolutely hurt teams on the counter attack. Doesn't matter how bad Man United are playing. If you're going to give them space and time for a counter attack, you saw the counter attack that eventually won the game for them against Brighton midweek. Is that they've got the likes of Pogba, Fernandes, Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho's playing fantastically well at the moment. And that's forgetting even the likes of Rashford and Lingard. They've got players that will hurt Leeds in a big, big way. So I just think if Leeds are going to go and play the way they normally play, there's no reason for me to think that they're not going to play that way. Man United win.
Chris,
sorry, just before because I hate Man United so much, I also don't mind if someone else wins. So sorry, Chris, over to you.
I'm still just buzzing off all these comments. I've never seen so many comments about appearance and everything. It's great, by the way.
I also admit, Chris, I like the John McEnroe one.
Oh, mate, I'm fed up of it. Do you know what? I was going to use the same tagline because someone said it to me ages ago, and I said you cannot be serious, but I was saying it in my head like he was. I think it was Adam actually. Adam started, but Adam, don't let that catch on, mate. Even the Bruce Willis. I mean, Bruce Willis is a decent looking fella, but obviously he's proper bald, isn't he? So it probably doesn't reflect well on me. But yeah, I've had worse lookalikes, I suppose. I was going to tell. Do you know what? I was just about to tell you what one of my mates keeps calling me, but I'm not going to say it because I won't hear the end of it.
Go on, tell us.
One of my mates reckons when I laugh, and this by the way was before I was much greyer than I am now. One of my mates reckons I look like Dan Aykroyd. And he said it's when Dan Aykroyd laughs, but hopefully no one else can see that resemblance.
Is that the guy from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, from Ghostbusters, yeah. When I used to walk into a pub or something, he'd sing the Ghostbusters tune. He used to do. Yeah, he did. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. But yeah, that's for another show. Yeah, do you know what? Man United have got too much quality, and again, like Pete said, they've got individual players to hurt you. So the likes of Rashford, Sancho still hasn't turned it on yet. Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, the list goes on. And Leeds, they're so wide open. They leave themselves open. I'd like to see a draw, and I could see a draw, but the trouble is Man United just keep drawing. So sooner or later, something will click, and they'll absolutely batter someone 3 or 4-0, and there's a good chance they'll get that 3 or 4-0 at Leeds. Yeah.
So I'll put the table back. Oh God, Pete, sorry.
I was going to say some breaking news right now. I don't know if we've got the breaking news.
I thought that was going to be a joke.
No. The Newcastle team bus has arrived safely in London. Obviously, they had to take the coach down rather than the plane. So they've just arrived in London, safe and sound. Obviously, with the storm at the moment, it is obviously a difficult situation. But all the players and staff are healthy and safe. So that's good news in the game tomorrow. We just need the game on.
Yeah,
it's good news, Pete, but our breaking news have really gone downhill. That's our breaking news.
It could have been a lot worse. You don't know.
Oh yeah.
With the weather and stuff,
they're safe and sound. Yeah,
that's most important thing.
To be fair, I think all our breaking news is going to go down after our fully loaded transfer news and all the breaking news we had during that one. There's going to be no that compares to those shows, I tell you. But anyway, get back to that bottom of the table. Thank you very much appreciated, mate.
Oh yeah. Cheers,
just so we'll go around then. So, Daz, how do you see Newcastle's game going tomorrow? Prediction: where do you think we'll end up at this in the table?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. I'm afraid. Yeah, and I'll still take a draw. I'd be happy with a draw. Because I've already exceeded my expectations for these 3 games. Remember, Rich and Pete, we did a show, and I said 5 out of 9. So I'd be happy with 7 out of 9 for sure. But I know Pete had 9 out of 9. He wants to get that 4. Well, it'll be 4 in a row then. But I think it's going to be a draw for us tomorrow. But you never know. Joe Willock, I'm going to go with Joe Willock again to score. He's getting closer and closer. Chris Wood, not a hope in hell he'll score. Not a hope in hell, unless it's unless he's taking a penalty or something. But no. Sorry,
Pete,
Chris Wood.
Pete, do you see it? Do you see it as 4 in a row, or do you think we'll not quite get the win?
What I mentioned on away days last night, so Keith Rowe, he took my kind of prediction because he said it was going to be 1-1. I thought it'd be maybe a 1-1 draw. We'd take a point, but I changed and I went, more positively. So I went for a 2-1 win. Look, it all depends. It all depends on a number of factors, but more so, are West Ham going to have a sort of an off day? They tend to have an off day here and there at the Olympic Stadium. Can we take advantage of that? Can we win? Yeah, of course we can. West Ham are flying high, but we're a team that are in good form at the moment, that are going to be confident. There's a conversation that I want to bring up shortly with regards to this game, but I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say, look, we're going to win 2-1. I'm going to keep this winning run rolling, and if we win tomorrow, we are safe. There is no doubt about it. We will get the points that we need to stay in the league if we beat West Ham, no doubt.
Yeah. So that would take us up to 15th. Chris, do you think we'll beat 15th at the end of the week, or how do you see the game go tomorrow?
You know what? I'm not losing any negative, I might, but I think we get beat tomorrow. And it's only because the thought of us going, what would it be? It'd be 7 games unbeaten. I just like, it would be absolutely dreamy, and I'd be made up to get a point. I'd take a point, Dad, like you say. I would take a point all day long. I think it'd be a fantastic point as well, and obviously if we could get the win, great. There's a few things working in our favour that I've got in mind. Obviously, as you said, Rich, we don't have a bad record against West Ham in recent years. I know we're missing Trippier and I know we're missing Wilson, but the lads are really on fire at the moment, and they're all really working hard and working well together. So I think we're capable of getting a win. I think we're capable of getting a draw, but I just feel in my heart of hearts that we'll come unstuck tomorrow, and that's not because I think it's due to the lineup or it's due to anything in particular. It's just the fact that I'm trying to be a realist, and I just think the form that we've been in recently, I feel like Pete just said, I feel like we're due a bit of a bad one, because we've been so good. And like I say, the past, I'm sure it's 6 games we're unbeaten now. That good runs always come to an end, and I do think West Ham a particularly difficult team to play against, and they're not. If you look at the league table doesn't lie. They're not in the position that they're in without playing some really good football and showing that they're a really good team, which I believe they are. There's no, like I say, there's no reason why not. And if we did win, as much as I'd be shocked, I wouldn't think that it's beyond possibility. I just feel that tomorrow may be a step too much. I just think that it'll be tight. I think we'll get beat 2-1. That's just my personal gut feeling. I don't think we'll get battered by any stretch, but I just think we'll get beat. I hope I'm wrong though.
Look, can we get him off?
I know it's that miserable, lad, isn't it? It's that miserable.
I'm having this negativity on loaded HQ. No chance.
I know.
Come on, man.
I want to be wrong. I really do.
The one thing I'll add is what Daz said, and I think he's getting to it now in this one here. And we talked about this last night. Chris Ward has 7 goals in 9 games against West Ham. He is due a goal, and Life Goals knows. We talked about this last night. We think he's going to score. So it's only a matter of time. He needs a goal. He needs a game in which he's going to nick a goal. In this type of game, it could be a set piece that wins it.
Yeah.
It could be a set piece that makes the difference. Is he going to get one from a corner or a free kick? I hope so. I hope he gets the winning goal. The winning goal.
And I'll tell you what as well, lads. I've seen Chris Wood get a lot of stick in recent weeks, and Eddie Howe's been defending him. And I think the majority of Newcastle fans can see what he's brought to the team, and that that they appreciate that he's not just goals; it's what he's bringing to the team and defending from the front, if you like. But if you look back to all the games that Chris Wood's played since he's joined, well, I know for a fact you wouldn't be able to name 3 chances that he's fluffed or made a mess of. I can think of maybe one where he could and should have done better, but that's one chance. Yeah. If he gets 3 or 4 chances in a match, he scores. And I really, really do hope he breaks the stuck tomorrow. And there's no reason why not. And it's great to see, you know, that he's got such a good record against West Ham. And I do believe as well, if we score the first goal, I'll change my mind on it. If we score the first goal, we're getting something out of the game 1,000,000%. I think I'm just a little bit worried that, you know, that we may not score first.
I'm going to defend myself here a bit on Chris Wood, because I think he holds the ball up well, and he can bring others into play. It can work a bit better as well with other players, as Martin mentioned before, running past him or running off him. But and until we're crossing the ball into him, and we've lost Trippier, and that was one of the best crosses that could do that. I know we've Target that can do that as well. But until we play to his strengths, he's not going to get those chances. And if he doesn't get the chances, he's not going to score. So that's why I'm saying that. And I want to see him score. I want to be proved wrong. So that's my challenge to you, Chris Wood. Score.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to keep the positivity going. I do believe we'll keep the unbeaten run going. And you know, what's up with you?
I've just seen that comment from Jeff. It just made me laugh. He keeps giving me stick about the fact that I'm sometimes behind.
Go on then, Chris. What's your prediction for the Villa game then?
I don't know. I think we'll
win. Who'll score, Chris?
I don't know.
He is proper funny, Jeff. He's been winding me up on Twitter.
Jeff, he's outstanding in his field. He is. Don't buy what he's digging. Jeff, the archaeologist.
Do you know what, lads? I'll keep it. I'll go for a 2-1 win. So we're going to round up the show. Last topic here, and this afternoon we got the updated fixtures for the rescheduled Southampton and Everton game. So I've brought up March's fixtures, and it looks as though we're going to have 4 games in 9 days. The reason why I say it looks like is because obviously we start off with Brighton at the 5th of March, then we go Southampton, which once again the Premier League have been awful to us, and you know, getting down to Southampton on a Thursday night for a 7:30 kickoff. Once again, Premier League not giving a shit about the Newcastle fans. 3 days later, we play Chelsea away. Everton's been put on for Thursday, the 17th of March. Now, the Palace game at the minute is provisionally is in for the Saturday, the 19th of March, which is not a great turnaround to 2 days later. I think the one thing we probably hope for in that case is that Crystal Palace win their FA Cup game that they've got coming up, and that is due to be the FA Cup weekend. So that could give us, a free weekend if that's the case, so it doesn't look too bad fixture-wise. Daz, what's your thoughts on the rearranged games and how they've been fit in within the space of 7 days?
Well, I've just kind of only seen them about an hour ago or so, but I'm delighted that the space out of them is not great, but there's a game on Paddy's Day, the 17th of March, and in Ireland we also now have got an extra holiday this year, and it's on the 18th, so 4-day weekend, and with to kick it off with a Newcastle win against Everton would be nice. I'd have to travel up to Martin's Shed and camp out there for that weekend, that long weekend, but no, yeah, I didn't even really look with the sit-in properly, but yeah, there's not a lot of time between games. Well, that was always going to be the case when games get rescheduled, and there are away games as well, which doesn't help. But look at we at that time when they were scheduled for, we were kind of depleted. We had a few injuries, and we have strengthened since then. So you can't be too unhappy about it. That we have to play them sometime, and so yeah, let's go win them.
Pete, do you agree with them just literally ramming the 2 fixtures in within a week of each other? Right, obviously there's still April that could have potentially worked with as well there, and especially putting Southampton on a Thursday night. Unfortunately, it was always probably going to be a midweek game unless both teams were out the FA Cup, and they could have put on an FA Cup weekend. But, once again, the Premier League have screwed Newcastle fans. But what do you make of those 2 rearranged fixtures of the 7 days?
Am I surprised by it? No, because we, as you've mentioned, we always tend to get screwed over by fixture changes or fixtures that are made for TV for whatever reason. You know, you look at tomorrow's, for example, you've got Newcastle fans having to travel up on a Thursday to avoid the storm and to ensure that they arrive on time for the game. I was at the Arsenal game at the Emirates where there was fans that didn't arrive in 15, 20, half an hour into the game because of the travel. It was a 12:30 kickoff. They never ever look out for the fact that we are the longest travelling fans in the country, because we have the furthest distances to travel across the country with regards to Premier League fixtures. So I'm a surprise no. I'm gutted really, because I would have liked a few, at least one of those games to be rearranged for April, because I think in April would have had a better chance of having the likes of either or both of Chris Wood, not Chris Wood, sorry, Kieran Trippier and Callum Wilson back fit potentially. So I'm disappointed about that. But look, it is what it is. As long as we look after our players, as long as we keep fit, as long as we keep working hard and playing in the way that we have been, we've got a chance of winning both of those games. But we're gonna have to manage ourselves really well. And I think if you go back, if anyone's, like I said it earlier, if anyone's listened to Eddie Howe's press conference, he talks about when the question was asked of him with regards to Bruno Guimaraes, he was very clear on the fact that he is going to play a lot of games for Newcastle. He is going to get a lot of minutes, and what you'll probably find at some point around that fixture schedule is that he will rotate the team, and there'll be one or two players that will come in and play for one or two of those games, and Guimaraes will be definitely one of them. You cannot expect Willock, Joe Linton in particular, and certainly the wingers in ASM and Ryan Fraser to be able to do that for 90 minutes in terms of their work rate, and Chris Wood as well, their work rate, Sunday, Thursday, Saturday, Thursday. It's going to take its toll at some point, so players will need a rest at some point. So hopefully that Palace game is postponed and moved back into a position where we can actually field our best team and win that game, because I think that's a game that we should be targeting 3 points.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's one of our winnable games over that sort of period. Chris, what's your thoughts on those fixtures?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? It is what it is. No shock. The Premier League, they just tend to they don't really think about the fans, do they? It's certainly, we've been saying this for years, and unfortunately, we've just got to get on with it. Again, as Pete rightly said, I think there'll be a lot of squad rotation in the coming weeks. We'll obviously want to be avoiding getting additional injuries, and it'll give opportunities to some players who are on the fringes, or like Bruno Guimaraes, who hasn't actually broke into the team properly yet. So we'll get on with it. And we'll do what we do, and we'll keep supporting the lads like we all do. Do you know what I mean? It's not ideal, but unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. And it's even more heightened because of the fixtures that they are. You've got Southampton away and Everton away, two very long journeys for fans of Newcastle who live in Newcastle. So they do have my sympathy, but it is what it is, Rich, and I think we've got a good enough squad, especially after the January transfer window, to cope with it, and I certainly hope we do anyway. Yeah,
I do as well. Well, we're coming to the end of the show, but there's one thing we've still got to do before we finish, and that's a little bit of housekeeping. So if you've liked the show and you loved our content so far, we're on a mission now to get to 3,000 subscriptions. So as Daz always says, right in front of you on the chat, click on the like button to make sure it's important that you like all the videos we put on there. But also, consider subscribing for free if you enjoy it, so you'll never miss another show again. Also, if you love the content that much, you want to become a member, it's $1.99 a month, and you do get exclusive loyalty rewards, as obviously the badges and stuff like that, and custom emojis if you want to use the super chat. But also, you get into our exclusive draw. I know we've had Paul Grant in the chat tonight, who was the winner of our NUFC shirt giveaway at the start of the month. But also we've had giveaways from Black and White Army. Bronwyn doing a fantastic job with Black and White Army there. Fantastic sweatshirts, T-shirts and bobbles and beanies as well. She is due back on at some point this month. Hopefully, tell us a little bit more about her up and coming brand and what she's decided to do going forward. Also, our charity sponsor, Simon's been in the chat tonight, and his charity Shy Burns. Something that's really close to mine and Martin's heart. It's mental health and some fantastic snapback caps there, Shy Burns, with the panda that I know Chris absolutely loves. On there as well, another one there and with also the fantastic hoodies as well, telling you about empowering yourself and obviously believing in yourself as well for mental health. And also, as we touched on at the very, very start of the show, our fantastic new sponsor, Pins and Prints. Now, remember, guys, obviously we'll go through the chat and we will look back at your ideas for the Newcastle cards. However, if you haven't seen them on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, this is the sort of things you can actually get. And remember, you do get a 10% discount code when you go to the website pinsandprints.com and use the offer code LOADEDMAG. You will get 10% off for your order. So you can get stuff like the Kieran Trippier over the wall, Papa Cisse against Chelsea, one of his goals from when he was out on the left wing. Perhaps you don't want a goal celebration. Perhaps you want something like the Alan Shearer shirt print from when we had the 95-96 shirt, which leads us on to two classic shirts combined into one display. Or however, you might want to go something a bit more recent and go for J7 and his upsurge over the last few weeks. Or you might like a John Joe Shelby glasses looking for loaded celebration against Leeds there. Or perhaps you're into your Geordie new music and you don't want your missus won't let you buy a Newcastle print, but you might want to have that Geordie Sam Fender, who we know won a Brit this year. So look, guys, there's plenty to choose from. There's absolutely loads of different goal celebrations as well. But also, in regards to goal celebrations, if there's not one there that you actually like, but there is a memorable goal that you actually want, give them a message. And as long as they can get a clip or a picture of the goal, they will actually be able to make that for you. So, if that's the case, get in the inbox to Pins and Prints and speak to Dean and they'll get that all sorted out for you. That's it, guys.
Richie, hang on. If the missus won't let you buy a Newcastle print, buy a Sam Fender one instead. Get a new missus, I say, if that's the case. It's only your print. It's only a poster. God.
I'll tell you what. I'll ask Dean whether they have a set 10% discount on new misses as well. Should I?
No, it's not true. You get a wig with by joining either, and yeah, as Jeff says here as well, $1.99 a month is an excellent value to abuse Chris.
That's what set me off laughing before.
Richie, should we tell everyone as well what's happening with the show?
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe.
Am I doing or are you doing it?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it here. Well, first of all, if you haven't seen it already, hands up. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't had the time to see it, but I have heard rave reviews of the Away Days show yesterday with Mr. Dan Lawless. Pete, tell us about it for anyone that has missed it.
Yeah, fantastic show with Dan. He was the original that came on the first Away Days show right at the start of the season. Dan's a top guy, West Ham Fans TV. We'll be doing some more collaborations with him between now and the summer, that's for sure. And we talk everything Newcastle, talked about our new owners from both sides of the coin, talked about both managers, and we talked about some of the pairings. We didn't get a chance to talk about it tonight, but we talked about the matchup, and one to maybe look out for is the Declan Rice against Joe Linton in that midfield. I think that's going to be a really, really important battle. I know we touched on the conversation in a little bit more detail last night, but look out for that one. We had the Declan Rice, Sean Longstaff issue many times before, but I think the tomorrow there's two big powerhouses, big runners, big tacklers that are going to be going up against each other. So one to watch for sure. So lots and lots of other discussions about a number of things Newcastle. Lots in the chat tonight. We're in the chat last night. Fantastic questions across the board. A 2-hour show not to be missed. And certainly if you're looking for a nice little preview for the West Ham game tomorrow, it's definitely the one to watch.
Thanks, Pete, and I do want to watch that one. Happy birthday to Tony as well. His birthday tomorrow, and I see some people give it.
Have a good one, Tony.
As well.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Yeah, also then as well to keep a lookout for. So back at 7 o'clock tomorrow, we are back with a reaction show. Hopefully it's another positive reaction. They have been very enjoyable. So keep an eye on that. So 7 o'clock. And on Tuesday, we have a returning guest in the shape of Kieran Maguire. And Kieran Maguire has been active today in talking about Newcastle, hasn't he, Richie?
He has, yeah. Obviously, we'll ask him more about this on Tuesday night. But there's rumours going around that Newcastle are tipped to make 40 million by renaming St James's Park. So that's a topic that we'll keep in the background for Tuesday night, because there's a couple of other things he's mentioned on Twitter over the last few weeks since he was on the show at the start of January. But yeah, it's something that it's interesting to find out the mechanics of that deal if it was to happen, and what the stadium could be called, as long as it's not another Sports Direct Arena or something like that. But all being good, we'll see Kieran on Tuesday night, and we'll ask that question there. But lads, great show, great to have Chris back. Great to see the viewers abusing him in chat as normal as the. You can tell you missed it, mate.
Oh, mate, I haven't stopped laughing the whole way through. It's
I
enjoy the viewing interaction, because you know what, as we always say, these shows are nothing without the viewers, because sending us messages, asking questions, that's what makes it. That's why we love doing it.
Yeah. I agree, Chris. It's nice to let your hair down once in a while, but it can come back to haunt you.
I don't know. But lads, that's it. Fingers crossed tomorrow lunchtime, 3 points. And we will see everyone back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock for the review show. So everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time, this moment, right now.